At my nephew's first birthday, my mother pulled me aside and whispered, "You'll never have this because you're too selfish to be loved." I stood there numb, holding the gift I had spent weeks saving for. As the party went on without me, I sat on the front steps alone. 3 years later, when I announced my engagement, she wasn't even on the guest list. I want to say it all started at that party, but if I'm being honest, it started way before that. I've always been the odd one out in my family. I was the firstborn, but somehow the least favorite. My mom had me at 19. She was single at the time, and I guess I was a reminder of all the hard years. When she married my stepdad, I was 6, and from then on, it was all about building a real family. That family didn't include me the same way. My sister Tara? She could do no wrong. She got the praise, the time, the attention. I got lectures in silence. But I still tried. I never stopped trying to be seen. When Caleb's first birthday rolled around, I was living in a crummy apartment on the edge of Roanoke. My mattress was on the floor, the fridge was half empty, and I was skipping meals to make rent. But when Tara invited me to the party, I wanted to show up with something special. Something that would prove I cared, even if I wasn't like them. I found this antique rocking horse in a little store downtown. It was beautiful. Hand-carved, solid wood, looked like something from a picture book. It cost more than I had any business spending, but I did it. I picked up every extra shift I could. 3 weeks of sleeping 4 hours a night just to buy it. I showed up early to the party. I thought maybe it would be different this time. Maybe Mom would look at me and see I was trying. That I was doing something good. She was standing near the grill, bossing Tara's husband around like always. She waved me over when she saw me, and I remember thinking maybe she was going to thank me. Or say she missed me. Something small. Instead, she looked me dead in the face and said it. "You'll never have this. You're too selfish to be loved." Just like that. No context. No lead-in. Like it was some truth she'd been waiting to unload. I froze. My hands were shaking. I remember feeling the bow on the gift dig into my palm. I'd wrapped that thing with care. Taped the corners down so they looked neat. I was proud of it. After she said it, she turned back toward the grill like she'd just commented on the weather. I didn't say a word. I just walked away. The rest of the party went on like I didn't exist. No one asked me to help. No one introduced me to anyone. I sat on the front steps while they laughed and took pictures. Caleb smashed his cake and Tara squealed, and I sat there with my phone to my ear, pretending to talk to someone so no one would ask why I wasn't inside. But they wouldn't have asked anyway. 3 years passed. A lot changed in that time. I moved to Asheville, North Carolina, for a job I got at a local nonprofit. Started fresh. No one knew my family. I could just be me. I met Daniel at a bookstore, of all places. He asked what I was reading. I told him something embarrassing, one of those cheesy thrillers, and he didn't laugh. He asked if I wanted to grab coffee sometime. 2 years later, he proposed. It was a quiet moment. Just the two of us, sitting on the porch with takeout. He slipped the ring out like it was a secret. No big speech. Just, "I want you, all the time, if you'll have me." I cried. Not just because I was happy. But because a part of me finally felt seen. Like someone had looked at me, really looked, and said, "You're enough." When we started planning the wedding, we kept it small. 40 people. Only the ones who mattered. I didn't even hesitate. My mom wasn't invited. A week after the save the dates went out, she left me a voicemail. I assumed the invitation got lost in the mail. Let me know the date. I'll clear my schedule. I deleted it. Then she showed up at my apartment. She just stood there when I opened the door, like she was waiting for me to hug her or something. "You're really not inviting me?" she asked. You told me I'd never be loved, I said. Remember that? She blinked, like she didn't know what I meant. Then she gave this little laugh. Oh, come on. That was 3 years ago. And this is now, I said, and shut the door in her face. After I closed the door, I stood there, hands on the handle, heart pounding. I thought that would be it. That she'd leave. That she'd finally get the message. She didn't. The next morning, Daniel found her sitting in her car across the street. Just watching the building. She didn't come to the door again, but she stayed parked out there for over an hour. I didn't see her myself, Daniel told me after she finally drove off. It made my skin crawl. A few days later, Tara called. I hadn't heard from her in almost a year. I didn't pick up the first time. Or the second. On the third try, I answered. Her voice was cold. Not angry. Not friendly. Just flat. Why didn't you invite Mom? I sighed. You know why. She's your mother. She told me I'd never be loved. She said it like it was a fact. There was silence on the line. Then she said, she didn't mean it like that. Tara. Stop. I'm serious, she said, her voice getting sharper. She's been depressed. Ever since Caleb started school, she's... I don't know. Empty. She misses us. You shutting her out isn't helping. I swallowed hard. You think I owe her something? I think she's trying. She showed up, didn't she? No. She's not trying. She's guilting. There's a difference. Tara exhaled like she was tired of me. You always make everything about you. That one stung. I'm done with this, I said, and hung up. But that wasn't the end. The next week, I got a letter in the mail. Handwritten. My mom's looping, perfect cursive. She started with the usual, I raised you. I gave up so much for you. Then she twisted the knife. You're punishing me because you can't let go of things. You hold on to old wounds like trophies. I may have said something wrong, but no one's perfect. Family forgives. If you don't want to forgive me, then maybe you really are as selfish as I said. I stared at that line for a long time. I didn't even feel sad. I felt nothing. Like she had drained me dry. Daniel saw me toss the letter in the trash. You okay? He asked. I don't know, I said. I really don't. 2 days before the wedding, Tara showed up. Unannounced. In person. She looked pissed. You seriously uninvited Mom from your own wedding and now she's having a breakdown. I crossed my arms. And whose fault is that? She's not perfect, Tara said. But she's still our mom. You didn't even give her a chance. I stared at her. Do you know what it's like to sit outside your own family's party, alone, because your mother told you you'll never be loved? Do you know what that does to someone? Tara looked away. She says she doesn't remember saying that. Of course she doesn't. She shifted her weight. She says you twisted her words. I laughed. You think I made it up? I think you love being hurt, Tara snapped. You live off it. You keep score like it's a damn sport. That was it. I stepped closer. You know what? Maybe I do. But at least I didn't build my life pretending nothing's wrong. She blinked, caught off guard. You want to talk about pain? I said. You got a husband. A house. A family that worships you. I got silence, guilt trips, and being called unlovable. Don't you dare tell me to get over it. Tara left without another word. But I could feel it, something was coming. Something worse. The morning of the wedding, the sun came up gray and heavy. Not rain, just this thick, dull sky that made everything feel muted. I was already up by 6, sitting on the edge of the bed, holding my coffee in both hands like it was keeping me grounded. Daniel came up behind me, wrapped his arms around my waist, kissed the side of my neck. "You okay?" "I think so," I said. He looked at me, and I could see he didn't believe it. But he didn't push. By 10, I was at the venue. This little garden house just outside Asheville. We kept it simple. Local flowers, buffet-style food, no bridesmaids. Just me and Daniel, and the 40 people we knew actually cared. Or so I thought. At noon, my phone buzzed. Text from a cousin I barely talk to anymore. "Did you mean to invite your mom?" "She's here." I froze. I texted back, "What?" No answer. I called Daniel, heart pounding. "She's here." "Who?" "My mom." "She showed up." He went quiet. Then he said, "I'll handle it." But before he could, she was already inside. Someone must have let her in, thinking she was invited. She wore this pale blue dress like she was playing mother of the bride. And there she was, hugging people, smiling, acting like nothing had happened. I saw red. I marched across the room, heels clicking, people staring. She turned just in time for me to stop 2 feet in front of her. "What the hell are you doing here?" I asked. She didn't even flinch. "This is your wedding." I wasn't going to miss it. "You weren't invited." She smiled softly, like I was being dramatic. "You'll regret this one day." I could barely breathe. "You think you can show up and pretend we're fine? After everything?" "We are fine," she said, voice syrupy. "You're just being difficult." I felt something crack inside me. I turned to the guests. "Everyone who thinks she should stay, raise your hand." No one moved. I looked at her. "Leave. Or I'll have you removed." Still, she didn't move. So I stepped back and nodded to the venue manager. They escorted her out. She didn't fight. But as she walked past me, she whispered, "You're proving my point." And for a second, I felt like I was back on those front steps again, gift in my lap, tears in my throat, and no one noticing I was even there. But then Daniel walked up, took my hand, and said, "Let's get married." The ceremony went on. I said the vows with my voice shaking, but I meant every word. Daniel looked at me like I was the only person in the world. And for the first time in years, I felt chosen. Not because I begged or proved myself. Just, chosen. The reception was beautiful. People danced. We laughed. We ate too much cake. For a few hours, I let myself believe the storm was over. It wasn't. The next day, we woke up to messages. My phone was full. Missed calls. Voicemails. Social media blowing up. Tara had posted something on Facebook. A photo of Mom outside the venue. Face red, arms crossed, being led to her car. Captioned, "When your own daughter throws you out of her wedding for trying to love her." There were comments. Dozens. People I hadn't seen in years chiming in, calling me cold. Selfish. Ungrateful. She gave you life. She must have done something right, you turned out okay. I can't imagine doing that to my mom. I sat on the edge of the bed, phone in hand, heart pounding. Daniel read over my shoulder. "What the hell is this?" "She's flipping the story," I whispered. That day, I didn't respond. I didn't defend myself. I just sat in the dark, thinking about all the times I'd been called selfish for protecting myself. But that night, I changed my mind. I logged on. And I wrote everything. Every cutting comment, every time she left me out, every moment she made me feel like a burden. I wrote about the birthday party. The rocking horse. The silence. The guilt. I wrote the truth. And then I posted it. People read it. It spread fast. A few even apologized in the comments. But Tara? She went silent. For 2 weeks, nothing. Then I got a message. Not from her. From her husband. It was short. Just so you know, your sister's staying with our mom now. And she took Caleb with her. You've lit a match you can't put out. I stared at it for a long time. I thought about calling. About fixing it. But I didn't. Because maybe I had lit a match. But the fire had been waiting for years. 6 months later, Mom tried to contact me again. This time, through a lawyer. She wanted to sue for emotional distress. Said I damaged her reputation. I laughed when I read it. Then I handed it to my own lawyer and said, let her try. The case went nowhere. But her reputation? It never recovered. She stopped getting invited to church events. Friends stopped returning her calls. People saw her different now. And Tara? She eventually moved back in with her husband, but things were never the same. I heard through a cousin that their marriage hit the rocks. Money issues. Trust issues. I didn't reach out. She made her bed. And me? I stayed in Asheville. Daniel and I built something solid. We didn't have kids right away. I still flinched at the idea of becoming someone's mother. I needed time. But we were happy. I still think about that day on the front steps. About how small I felt. But I'm not that girl anymore. She wanted me to believe I was unlovable. And in the end, I proved her wrong. Not with rage. Not with begging. But by walking away, and never looking back.